James Gunn also walked in, like I said, on that situation with Henry Cavill being announced. There's so many layers to this story to unpack. There's
I'm waiting for you to tell me
many.
which story you want to go with, but go
All
ahead.
right. First off, I just don't like the timing, right? The optics of it is not, to me, not good, especially because it was so soon after they asked Henry Cavill to go on his social media and announce his return for future Superman films. Now, I understand this is before James Gunn walked in, but it's indicative of how quickly things are changing at Warner Brothers. Like they literally hired a writer and took a pitch for a Man of Steel 2, and they were still working on the deal of bringing in James Gunn in at the same time. Like these are two conflicting plans. Things still
Well,
feel chaotic there.
here's the thing. I don't think we know all the time frames for everything. I mean, think about this. Like, for one, they the timeline is so freaking messy. So back in what I think August, don't quote me, but I think it was like August or something like that, when the regime changes were, in flux or what, be in in the movie or whatever. So Henry Cavill shoots his stuff sometime in the fall or whatever for Black Adam. Okay. Boom, we got him. Then who knows whenever he recorded that video of I'm back and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But like when all that stuff was happening, like you mentioned, Gunn wasn't even hired yet. He wasn't even on there yet. And then after all that, Henry Cavill is back. We're working on Man of Steel 2. Keep in mind, this was gunless. All this stuff was gunless. In
But
other
that,
words,
yeah,
they had no real plan, and
no,
they were just throwing anything at the wall to see what stuck. And they
that's
were
the
like, man, you
problem.
know what we got to do? We got to have a Superman movie. Oh, Matt Reeves, man, yeah, keep going with your stuff. Oh, Joker 2, hell yeah, keep going with that. Everybody gets something because y'all, we needs to make our money back.
That's the scary part. These are the decision makers, and this is this stuff that they're doing. This is what they're
To be
doing inside
fair,
Warner
to be
Brothers.
fair, this was the inherited mess that
Hold on,
Zaslav
hold on,
had
hold
to
on, hold
deal
on.
with
Zaslav
at
didn't
that time.
inherit bringing back Henry Cavill. That was
He
under his
greenlit
regime.
it. Yeah, he
He
greenlit it.
greenlit it. So
Yeah,
bringing back Henry Cavill,
right.
giving The Rock the ability to talk all that stuff he said, that's under Zaslav. And
I
also
agree.
at the same time, hiring James Gunn is under Zaslav. So
But we
Warner
don't know
Brothers
when
looks
that
messy.
happened, though. That's my
Warner,
point. Because there was talk. What was it? Something Lin or whatever, Justin, whatever it
Justin
was.
Lin, the Fast and Furious
No,
director.
no, not him. It was another person before they went to Gun. They had been looking for people,
Oh, yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
they
yeah,
could
yeah.
not find someone that would like actually take it. So
But
it was a process, and who knew how long that process was going to take? That process could have taken months. It could have taken years for them to find their Kevin
so
Feige.
that's why I'm
So
like, why
in
would they move forward with the Man of Steel
because
project?
you don't just stay there and not make money. You got to make your moves. What you gonna do? Just sit there and be like, all right, y'all, we not gonna put nothing out. We not gonna have nothing in
No, the
development. And you
movie
know
was
how
done. They
long
didn't
things
have to
take.
include the cameo. They already have Shazam. They already have the Flash. They
Well,
already have
nobody's checking
more
for those.
movies coming out.
Nobody's checking for those things.
No, but I'm just
Nobody.
saying they had something to buy them time. They didn't have to do Cavill now. They could have waited, but they they don't feel
Taxes,
like they're planning. It doesn't feel
taxes.
like they're organized. It doesn't feel
Let's
like
not forget they
it
got them
feels
tax
messy.
write-offs. G, they got to get them
Yo,
taxes.
the fact that they're sitting here canceling stuff after it done already been completed,
It's wild.
it's insane.
But I mean, like this is why like everything is messy. And it's messy
Yes.
because we don't know the timelines. We don't know when things actually happen. Now, we as the general public, we are reacting to all this stuff because this is when the news comes out. We just got news that came out literally every day during this week. Something else happened. Henry Cavill's back. Psych. No, Henry Cavill's out. Man, Henry Cavill did this.
Yeah,
Man, James Gunn said that. Here
yeah,
comes something canceled. Nope,
yeah.
somebody said no, it's not. And the thing is, so much of this stuff, even though we get it in a couple days, a lot of months were in between the actual events of when they occurred, because there were people online saying like, yo, James Gunn, why would you bring Henry Cavill back and then just to fire him again? He was like, yo, I had nothing to do with that.
I know,
I
but
had
it still
like I
feels like
literally was not even involved with anything Black
no,
Panther
he didn't have
related.
anything to do with the hiring. But as far as the announcement of that plan not happening, that is absolutely under him.
But you know what? I also don't have a problem with that, because for two reasons. One, when James Gunn said that, like, yo, I'm making a Superman movie, right?
Yeah,
So
sure.
for all the let me just throw this out there. For the real DC fans, you're getting a Superman movie. And
Yes.
it's a shame. It is a shame. I don't care if it's Man of Steel or whatever. It's a shame DC has not come out with another Superman movie in 9 years. It is ridiculous.
I understand
So
that.
the
But
fact that James Gunn even said that was good. But here's the other thing. With Henry Cavill, he did say, like, yo, I had meetings with him.
yeah,
I was hired, okay?
Yeah.
He was hired to
He
do a
was.
10-year plan.
yes.
So he was like, within this 10-year plan, I'm writing the script for a Superman movie. Unfortunately, it's for a younger Superman that will not include Henry Cavill.
He can do
But
anything he wants.
we talked about Henry Cavill for future projects,
So
and everyone misses that.
because there's a couple things in that, right?
Yeah.
The fact that it's the timing, right? Right now, this is the way they did it just a few weeks after Henry Cavill announced his return, it feels like a big FU to fans to the version.
It does.
That
It
version
does.
of the character. The second thing about that is he did a Band-Aid rip, right? He just ripped
Yeah.
the Band-Aid off.
Yeah.
Now, when Ben Affleck was walking away from the role of Batman and they were bringing in Robert Pattinson, they didn't do a Band-Aid rip. They did it over the course of time. First, they're like, oh, well, Ben Affleck just won't direct. All right. He's still Batman. Matt Reeves is being brought on, but he just won't direct. And they gave the fans time to process. It was like one little bad news after another. And then it helped the acceptance of Matt Reeves' version of Batman. What they're doing here is just I just think it's poor timing, it's poor optics, and I think it feels like it was poorly planned, especially the way they announced it. Putting this stuff out on social media just as a post or a tweet or a reply to a comment, that feels like it's in poor taste to be announcing your strategic decisions to your fans.
But I mean, this isn't even like the formal strategic anything. He was just saying like he said,
You didn't have to
I'm
say it
going
though.
to reveal more like the actual stuff later next year.
He didn't
He
have to
just
reveal
literally
none of
gave
it.
y'all a morsel so that way there wouldn't be just nothing but bad news.
He
But
could've
like,
just
hey,
did it
by the
slowly.
way, we're doing stuff and we're servicing, which I love. I love the fact that he said this. We are looking at the characters and the story because those come first. So
First
I
off,
was like, you know
oh,
what?
oh,
Here's the thing. DC has been a mess. There's
Yes,
no,
it
I don't
has.
care who you are, what level of fandom you are. It has been a mess. From
absolutely.
the studios to the fandom, it has been
Yes.
a mess. And
Yes.
because of that, all this patchwork stuff that they've been trying to do for the last, I don't know, 6-7 years or whatever,
Mhm.
it don't work.
Nope.
And at this point, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over, expecting a different result. So
I'm
you know
not-
what? The fact that he did that Band-Aid rip, I'm like, good. Make them cry, make them whine. They will get over it. But guess what? In time, and this is where Gunn is going to have to deliver, you better give us something great, because it's just like with
It's
sports.
got to be fantastic.
It's got to winning
be.
cures everything.
It has to be fantastic.
It has to blow people away.
So,
But I was just gonna say the timing. I think that it's actually a good thing rather than dragging it out and constantly making it a thing. Like, oh well, maybe Cavill will come back. Maybe look, he's out. He might come back. I know y'all mad. Have a nice Christmas. Enjoy yourself. Now next year, I'm gonna come through. Y'all, we got Jason Momoa as Lobo, reportedly. Y'all, we got Gal Gadot coming back. We got this, we got that, we got this, we got that. And now people could be like, okay, I'm still salty about Cavill, but you have my interest.
Maybe a good movie will make me forgive a lot, right? Especially in the entertainment. Our memories are short.
Yes.
We are forgiving.
Yes.
Let me ask you a different question though. Do you really want? Do we? I won't put it on you. Do we
Who is
really
we?
want the guy?
Who is
Fans,
we?
audiences of Superman, people who might look forward to this new iteration of the
So
universe.
DC fans or Snyder fans or general audiences?
You and I.
Okay.
Do we really want the guy who wrote the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special writing Superman? And he's doing a story of a younger version of Clark Kent that's working at the Daily Planet. Like, really?
So
We might as well go back to Krypton. Are we going to see Krypton destroyed again? We might as well start doing that too, right?
well, he did say this was not going to be an origin story. So he did say that. I would say this. I don't mind if he's writing. I would be more concerned if he's directing.
I'm concerned about his writing.
I'm not. Because one thing about James Gunn is that he does do a pretty good job with characters and
He does do
evoking
great character arcs.
emotion from those characters. And Superman, in my opinion, there's nowhere to go but up. I don't think James Gunn can write him down
Oh,
in a
no,
negative
no.
way.
I just hope you like comedy.
Who?
I hope you like comedy. That's
Oh,
all. I
comedy.
just
Yeah,
hope
I don't
you
have a
like,
problem with that. I don't have
hope you
look.
like comedy.
But here's
We're
the
gonna
thing, because James Gunn he can write dark stuff too, by the way. Let's not
Yeah,
act
I
like
know
he hasn't
Brightburn and all
done
that. Yeah,
horror comedy stuff. So
yeah.
he has a unique approach to comedy that you either gonna like it or you don't. Now, is it gonna be as slapstick comedy as Suicide Squad? I hope not.
Hope not.
And I enjoyed
Or
Suicide Squad.
Peacemaker.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed that and Peacemaker. But in both of those, especially in Peacemaker, I was sitting here like, yo, like he really dug into this character and made me feel for him. And at the end of the day, that is what usually
I
is the goal with Superman. You want audiences to feel for
so
him
maybe
and
you got
connect.
that from Peacemaker. I didn't get that from his writing in Guardians of the Galaxy or Suicide Squad. Maybe with Peacemaker, when he had more time to flesh out and do
Yeah.
over 10 episodes, he was able to really shine and hit his momentum. But as far as like writing characters that really generated my investment or interest, he's hit or miss. Like I
But
like
I
some of the
also think
Guardians, but I'm not really invested in any of them.
But you also have
And
to
then
consider, but you
it
got to consider the fact that like those movies that you also talked about, those were ensembles. So there's a lot
no,
of moving parts
no, no,
in
no, no,
all of
no.
those.
I hear you. This is going to be somewhat of an ensemble. He's going to be at the Daily Planet, so he's going to have Lois
That's not an
Lane. We're going
ensemble.
to
That's not
presumably
an
have
ensemble. That's
we're going
not
to
an ensemble.
presumably have what's the kid Perry
Ain't nobody checking for
and
Perry
then
White.
Jimmy Olsen, and
That's
we're
not
gonna
going to be an
see
ensemble.
him at the Daily Planet again. You know, that wonderful story of Superman that we've seen in the movie. We've seen it in the animated series. We saw it in Man of Steel. We're gonna see how Clark met Lois and he flirts with her. We're gonna get that story. Now,
Lois will more than likely be the only one that has like an amplified role than anything else. I highly doubt we about to
well,
get more
the
than
premise
15
alone,
words from Perry
the
White.
premise alone has already not evoked my interest. Like
No,
it's not a
I
stage
agree.
of life
I listen.
of
I you
Superman that
know
I'm interested in seeing again.
listen.
To
You're
me, it
you're
makes me feel like when we got to see Batman's origin again.
no.
Like,
I'm 100% with you on that. I mean, I've said for a long time that Superman is boring, and I'm talking about the Superman that we've seen, um,
yes, so far.
like so far. Now the comics, there's some good things. We got some
Yep,
good stories, but
yep.
they have yet to really be adapted for the big screen in live action. And if they do get on live action, maybe the TV series might poke at it here or there. The animated series has definitely done probably the best job with them. And the animated movies. There's a Man of Tomorrow, I think it is. Whatever the most
Yeah,
recent Superman movie is that came out that's animated from WB, that is fantastic because
I
that
have
one
an idea.
that right there should be something that should make live action Superman more interesting.
He's been talking about how it's going to be like interconnected with his animated shows and the
Yeah,
live action shows and the films. It's all one big universe. I'm okay if they decide to have like uh build up
sure.
on television or in animated form, and then they be like, all right, now he's going to get his movie, and it's going to be the one that James Gunn wrote.
I'm fine if he wants to do a movie first just to get audiences, get your appetite going, and then the TV shows, and maybe it's a series, maybe it's an animated thing, and they just fill in the gaps here and there. I'm fine with that.
Spider sense is tingling. I don't feel good about this. I sense danger.
Listen, I have learned my lesson from putting too much hope in any DC properties that are not animated, but I am very intrigued to see what he is going to come up with, because, to be honest, following all of this nonsense, I'm talking about like all the way back with your boy Jeff Johns, all the way back to those days. Yep, that's right. Put that cap down. Going all the way back to, this was the first time that I've actually heard them say stuff reasonably, saying like, yo, we need a plan. We need a plan. Because before that, they was just like, yo, we just finna do all this stuff.
No,
and we trying to catch up to Marvel.
Like, oh, this person's going to save the DC universe. You was reading those headlines to me. They've been trying to do a plan, but the idea of what they've been doing right now is reflective of a plan is nonsense, right? The fact
but a
that
lot
they
of
did the Henry Cavill announcement and then
here's the problem.
Announcement.
Here's the
not
difference.
Indicative of a plan.
Here's the difference. They had a guideline that they were trying to go through. They were like, oh, okay, yeah, we're going to do this, Batman v Superman, then Justice League, and then... Okay, they had a guideline. But the problem was the fact that without the real concrete plan, they were susceptible to being derailed. So whether that derailing came from, critics say that our movies are too dark. Hey, y'all, scrap everything, make everything funnier and lighter. Or if it was like, fans are like, harassing us or, getting upset, let's change everything at that point. They never stuck to their guns. No pun intended with James Gunn. But I'm just saying, now that they're like, yo, here's our plan. And as long as they don't deviate from it, as long as they don't bend to the will of this or that, and stick to the story and stick to the characters, I have more confidence in that.
Not to invest in DC long term.
What?
You know who else has learned not to invest themselves in DC long term?
Who's that?
The Rock.
I mean, to be fair, we don't know that yet.
Yo,
we don't know that yet.
How does this make Dwayne Johnson look?
It makes him look bad, but
it makes him look horrible.
But because a lot of this stuff happened before,
I understand that.
Then I'm just saying, as a reasonable business person, if I'm The Rock, I'd be like, hey, y'all, I came into a tumultuous situation. It's been very unstable. I have gone into the to the office to talk to James Gunn, and you know what? We're gonna work something out, or walk away, walk away.
How can you do anything? There clearly have been indications that Black Adam has not been financially.
He's not.
It can't justify a sequel financially. They
can justify a sequel. They could justify a sequel. It's just that it underperformed. Black Adam did not bomb. It just underperformed a lot.
He pushed a lot of his own. He put a lot of his own credibility on the line.
In a sense, I mean, think about it. He's also part of the production team. So this is just as much his baby as it is Warner Brothers. But at the same time, I think that he was coming into the fold when this was like the Wild Wild West. He was coming into WB in between transitions. So it was in between the transition with two different, executive groups or whatever. And it was a prime opportunity. And I don't blame him for this. It was a prime opportunity for him to take a piece of the pie and be like, yo, let me control this aspect of DC.
And what does this make him
like?
Look
like
when
the same
he has
way,
that little aspect, and he did all this play to get Henry Cavill to come back. How does it make him look?
But I'm just saying, it's no different than look at what y'all did with Matt Reeves. Y'all gave Matt Reeves a slice and gave
No,
him
except Matt Reeves' sequels guaranteed, and they just signed
right.
him onto a new
But
contract.
that's a contract thing, right? But I'm just saying, The Rock was like, "Yo, I see what you just did with Matt Reeves. Yo, I see what you doing over there with Todd Phillips and the Joker.
Yeah.
Let me get this little slice over here with
Nah,
Black Adam and
he
Justice
clearly
Society."
he clearly wanted Henry Cavill Superman to be a part
Oh,
of what he was involved in.
yes, I'm not.
So
I'm not disagreeing
the
with that. I'm just saying,
revocation of Henry Cavill Superman is what makes it look bad for him. His
I
optics,
agree.
his
I'm just
credibility
saying, you asked
took a
what is,
hit.
but you asked like, how does this make The Rock look? I'm
Yeah.
saying, Rock approached this more so from a business perspective. He came
Yeah.
at it as a
I
producer.
feel like
Yes,
when he
obviously
was
he's the star as
talking
well.
about the hierarchy has changed, and then
Right.
after the movie released, and he talked about how hard he worked to get Henry
Right.
Cavill back.
That's my point.
That's when he
That's
put
my
his
point.
that's when he put his own credibility on.
That's
the line.
what I'm
That's when he
saying,
went
though.
Beyond.
He put himself out there because he was more than just the actor and the star. He was also the
I
producer.
think he also felt confident that, hey, we are going forward with my idea. We're finally
Yes.
going to make it happen.
Yes, as a producer, he was
Mhm.
feeling himself because he got that sense. He was empowered before, and now that they're changing direction, there is a little bit of egg on his face. But all I'm saying is that it doesn't have to stay there.
There's a lot of egg, especially when you remember that the J.J. Abrams Superman project is still on.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you got all these other people. You got all these other people that they got their slice. They got their slice. To me, that makes
The
no
Rock
sense.
can't have Henry Cavill as Superman in his own little slice, right? We
Right.
can't have that slice. That slice we got to throw out. But we can
See,
add these new slices.
But you know what though? I also don't think that it's The Rock's fault for that.
No.
I honestly, here's the thing. I blame some of the fandom for that. Because if you think about it, if The Rock were, I'm trying to think like if I'm Zaslav, if I'm the execs right now, the more you hold on to the Snyder era stuff,
Mhm.
the more you actually embolden the fan base to either revolt against you or continue petitioning. Hey, since you keeping Cavill here, where's Man of Steel 2? Hey, if you're doing Man of Steel 2, restore the Snyderverse. Hey, if you're going to restore the Snyderverse, bring back Snyder. Like, it's never going to end, and it's going to cause more issues that have caused all the problems in the first place.
It's not necessarily an issue. That's like saying Todd Phillips' Joker is an issue. It's not an issue. If these guys want to have their own little sandbox and play over there, they could do it.
But all those other sandboxes have nothing to do with the actual fundamental problematic issue with Warner Brothers, which has been the dismantling of the Snyderverse. There's no baggage with Matt Reeves.
Saying,
there's no baggage with the Joker and Todd Phillips. There's no baggage. No, there's no baggage with J.J. Abrams.
Put it on
the
HBO
only
Max.
thing that has baggage, no, not with WB and their reputation. The only thing that currently has baggage is anything tied
all of
to
those
Snyder
other iterations
stuff.
are baggage, especially when you're all those other iterations. The Joker movie and Ta-Nehisi thing is baggage. That's the whole reason that they had to dump Snyder.
No, it's not.
The only thing that you're talking about
those things have baggage.
They don't have baggage. Audience of people who are aware of the Snyder movement online. It's not. It hasn't.
That ain't got nothing to do with none of it.
Culture.
It got nothing to do with none of it. None of those things have baggage. None of those things get negative press.
Yes, they
none
do.
of those things draw out review bombs.
Especially when you have
none of those things draw out harassment of the executives.
Versions of Batman running around,
bro. That does not matter. That does not matter. It does not matter.
What I was saying. I'm saying it doesn't matter. If they wanted to, they could have different sandboxes for all these characters. But what they're saying is, hey, having multiple universes, having multiple iterations is a problem. I don't want 4 Batmans running around. James Gunn is coming out and saying, hey, Henry Cavill's not going to be my Superman, but the Ta-Nehisi Coates one is still on track. There's multiple iterations. Now, whether or not the toxicity of the fandom of the Snyderverse needs to be quelled, that's a whole different battle than whether
that is the entire battle. That is the fundamental battle.
Compounding 2 different topics, right?
No. Back up. Stop. Because you're saying something that's contradictory. Hold on. You're saying something that's contradictory. They don't care. Right now, right now, they do not care if multiple iterations are running around because technically, we have two Jokers right now already.
Yes.
We have
Yes.
Todd Phillips Joker, we have Matt Reeves Joker, and I'm assuming
Maybe
whenever
Jared Leto.
Gunn does his
Connected.
thing or whatever, they're gonna have another Joker. That's gonna be three Jokers running around.
Yes.
Okay, so multiple iterations is not an issue
So
for
this
them right
doesn't
now. They are not trying to condense
this
everything
doesn't
into one
line
lane.
up with why. So every time I say The Rock could have had his own little sandbox, just like
Could have,
everybody else is getting a sandbox to
yes,
play with his interpretations of the characters.
yes,
Now, the toxicity of the Snyderverse fans shouldn't be compounded or joined with the topic of whether or not those versions of the characters should exist. The toxicity of the Snyderverse fans should be addressed in a separate way. Now, I hear you when you say, hey, not a fan of the Snyderverse fans, they're crazy. The best way to address this is if WB fights this battle for me and just throws it all out.
well,
I
time
hear
out
you
because
with
I
that.
don't hold on because I don't want you trying to send people my way. I don't have a problem with Snyderverse fans. I do have a problem with toxic fans that
That's
just
what I'm just talking
believe.
about the toxicity.
I'm talking about
I'm
like the
just
bad
talking
ones,
about the
but that's
toxicity.
hold on. That's not my point. My point is that the only time WB appears to actually have resistance is when it has anything when any of their properties, any of their IPs, any of the potential things have connections to Snyderverse stuff because that's the only thing that
Well,
gets
that's the
a
only
red
things that
light.
you got to understand that this is the thing that they've been messing up, right? You can see that
It
level of
is. No,
toxicity
I
with
agree.
any
I
company that
agree.
has an IP that has passionate fans and they're screwing it up. The
Sure.
Lucasfilm can talk
I'm
stories
not
about that.
absolving I'm not absolving the studio
By the
from
campfire.
any wrongdoing. I'm not saying that they're perfect. I'm not saying they've done wrong.
So
They've
their
they've
toxicity
screwed
is
up.
just because
My
of the fact
point
that they've
is
been screwing
the
up.
only thing that they here let me make it more simple.
Yeah,
If Rock would have came in and said,
yeah.
"Yo, I want to do Black Adam and the Justice League, or the Justice Society of America," and left it at that, I guarantee you he would have been just fine. The moment he brought Henry Cavill into the mix, that tainted the water for him. If he had just said, like, yo, it's just me, Black Adam, maybe I'll
You know
cross
what will
over with
prove that?
Shazam.
You know
I'm
what
gonna
will
do the
prove that?
Justice Society, and
What
that
will
was
prove
it.
that
If that
is
was it, he could
we'll
have played
see
in that sandbox.
we'll
He
see
could
what
have.
happens with Peacemaker season 2. That'll let us know whether or not that is a possibility. If that was an option, right? Have your own little sandbox. You can stay in this universe.
Maybe,
But
maybe.
as long as I think it would have been a different conversation if Black Adam made $1 billion at the box office like he was hoping, or 700 million, something like that. Then they would have had to listen to the man. But
Listen,
since they didn't do that,
all I know is if anything related to Snyderverse character and or lore happens, they take that out. Matter of fact, there was just a report that came out that they just scrubbed Wonder Woman's cameo and Superman and Henry Cavill's cameo from The Flash. And I think, don't quote me on this, I think they also scrubbed it from Shazam as well. So again, that is just my point, which is the only time we've seen WB be like, yo, stop, hold on, we don't like this. It's when it's tied to anything Snyder related in that sense.
or if it's Batgirl.
Or if it's Batgirl. Well, no, Batgirl had, if I'm not mistaken, I think Batgirl has some connections with all that stuff too.
Maybe it had Michael Keaton in it. Maybe.
I mean,
we'll never know. We will
the
never
rumors, at
ever
least
know.
from what I
But because
heard,
they
the
had the
rumor
same
was
James
that
Gordon, right?
Batgirl and Supergirl, they were going to replace Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck. Like, so again, maybe they went in a different direction with that, but
It was Michael Keaton, right? It
maybe
wasn't
all
going to
that
be
stuff
Ben
was too
Affleck. They
connected.
had Michael Keaton. Michael Keaton
I,
was
I
going to.
I agree, but like this, a lot of that stuff also was affecting whatever was going on with the Flash. Now we really don't know what direction they were going to go in or not because we haven't seen the Flash. The Flash was going to be another factor to consider.
What we do know is that anything that had Michael Keaton, just another Batman, just to get just another like, hey, we're going to offer it to you and then take it away, just like Henry Cavill. we lost Michael Keaton's version of Batman. That almost could have happened. Almost could have happened. And not in like a good way, like, oh, I really want to see him as Bruce Wayne fighting crime. But the way that we heard was also rumored with his Batman Beyond potential movie.
Oh my gosh, yeah. That hurt. 'Cause
That
I've been wanting a Batman Beyond for a long time.
yeah,
And I'm
and we
like,
what
there's
what
so
what's
much
what's
wasted potential for
better?
that.
What's better than Michael Keaton coming back as an older Batman and training a Terry McGinnis?
I love that.
It's
I've been
like
waiting for it. I'm here for it.
so they scrubbed him out of Batgirl. They shelved Batgirl. I don't know. Can we say canceled or do we have to? I don't know. Whatever.
I think
Batgirl's not
it's
coming
been
out.
canceled because it was actually happening and it's dead.
And then they're saying they're reworking the Flash. And my theory is they're probably going to alter what they were going to do with Michael Keaton's character. He's probably going to go away like they're doing this other Snyderverse characters. Batman Beyond. I don't like the timing of this stuff. It's just too much, too fast, and then we're losing things. Like I didn't even know I was going to get it. I had no idea Batman Beyond was going to be on the table until I heard it was canceled.
Same. Same. But you know, hey,
But
10-year plan.
yeah,
Let's see what
yeah.
happens.
Black
10-year plan.
Superman,
Like this,
Ta-Nehisi
like
Coates, and J.J. Abrams. That's still on the table.
I'm
10-year plan.
waiting because
10
I
year.
don't think they're gonna I don't think that they're gonna sit here and be like, all right, here's every single little thing we're gonna do. I think, you know,
Oh, we're gonna get a film slate for like the first
yeah.
phase or whatever
And
they
that's
want
what
to
I
call
was
it for
thinking.
like
Like, I think
2 years.
we're gonna get some Comic-Con version. If I'm James Gunn, I'm making this thing an event. I'm not gonna just make a tweet and be
No,
like, all right, y'all,
gotta be like
here go
fandom.
5 movies we doing.
But we already know some movies. We know Blue Beetle is in the plans.
Well, that's now here's the thing. This is a question a lot of people are asking themselves, which is why should we even care? You still got Shazam 2 coming out, you got Aquaman coming out, you got the Flash coming out, and
And Blue Beetle.
gosh, what else? I said
Blue
Blue Beetle, Flash, Shazam,
Aquaman.
Aquaman.
That's
Okay.
4.
So you got those 4 movies for 2023 alone. And on top of that, Aquaman's supposed to come out after all of those.
Yeah,
Like
it's coming out
in
at
December.
Christmas.
And I'm sitting here thinking to
It's
myself,
probably gonna
like,
get
you
pushed
know,
again because Pandora, Avatar 3, ain't that next
I
year?
mean, yeah, but at the same time, I'm like, why wouldn't you just have? Now, I don't know what's going to happen in Flash, but I'm like, if you're going to make it Flashpoint or anything like that, why don't you just have it be at the very end of the slate? Switch Aquaman with the Flash and let us just have Flash mess up the timeline, reset everything, and then in 2024, boom, we kick it off just like in Flashpoint. Like we kick it off with a new universe, everything starts over.
They have done nothing to make me excited.
The only thing that I am excited for, even though it's not official, is the prospect that they about to blow all this up. If they gonna blow all of this up and they gonna start from scratch, I am willing. I'm always willing, but I'm more willing to give DC a fair shot and be like, okay, we had 6-7 years of mess. Let's start again. Let's try it again.
I'm gonna do it.
Oh, and Aquaman, Jason Momoa as Lobo. That's your Robert Downey to Iron Man casting perfection right there.
You know, I ain't gonna knock it because they could be their Deadpool, right? And I ain't gonna knock it.
I mean, Lobo is a fun character. I hope they don't milk it and be like he has to have a solo movie. No, he does not. He could just be a nice side character, maybe a reoccurring character. But
so they tell me Bruce Timm is hired, and he's going to be involved with the foundation of this 10-year plan.
Stop dreaming.
To sit here and say we're going to...
You know what? We need to find when
we need to tweet this dude. We need to start...
No, hold on. We got to find when and where Bruce Timm is going to show up. I don't care if it's a Comic-Con or something. We need to make it a trip to go ask him straight up, like, bro, do you want to do this? Because maybe he just doesn't want to.
We could try to reach out to the dude. I mean,
I don't know if how accessible he is, but yeah, I agree. Like, yo, man, you a whole editor. Set it up. Let's get this interview going.
Oh, me.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
To me.
Yeah, set it up. Use your contacts or something. I don't know.
I'm over here on his Instagram. He's only got 20. He's got 25,000 followers. He's within. I guess he's might be
2,500 or 1,000?
25,000. 25,000. So I
That's too
guess
many.
he's accessible.
That's too many.
39 weeks ago, he posted, "Do you love Batman Beyond?"
That's the last thing he posted?
No, I'm just looking through his
What's
stuff.
the
And I'm
last
wondering,
time he posted?
when was 39 weeks ago? Is that about when Michael Keaton was hired?
What is the last thing he posted?
He posted a picture of Black Canary, and it was posted 7 days ago. So he's
Okay,
active.
he's active. Okay.
Yeah,
All
he's
right.
on here.
All right.
I'm just saying.
We got to ask him some questions. We're going to slide into his DMs.
March 13th, he asked his fans if they love Batman Beyond. That's
I'm
all
gonna
I'm
slide.
saying.
I'm gonna slide into his
Just
DM.
wondering,
Be
wasn't
like,
Michael
yo, bro,
Keaton?
I got questions.
All right, yeah, nah, we definitely need to find out when he's going to do an appearance or try to get a hold of him.
Yeah,
we need a comment.
I agree. Because here's the other thing: James Gunn is in charge of the animated stuff too. He's doing. Yes, he's the Kevin Feige over there. Well, him and Safran, but he's in charge of film, TV, and animation.
I thought that I didn't assume that Warner Brothers Animation fell under DC Films, but maybe. I thought it was just like
Zaslav
somebody they
consolidated
contract.
everything. Zaslav already he said like,
Huh?
"Yo, we are making a separate branch," because apparently it was kind of like a side thing, but now he was like, "Look, same way Marvel Studios is its own entity within Disney, now DC Comics is going to be its own entity within, under Warner Brothers." So he's giving them. He is basically copying what Disney and Marvel are doing. He's copying the structure. He's like, "Yo, I want a 10-year plan. I want somebody to do whatever they doing at Marvel to do over here." And that's why Gunn was hired.
Okay.
So we'll see, to see that connective tissue.
All right.
That's what I'm saying. Blow it all up. Start over. There's no reason to hold on to the past.
I mean, I hear you with your excitement to say, "Oh, we need a clean slate." But when you sit here and say, "But it's going to be created by James Gunn." Okay, all right. I know you're sitting there and you're like, maybe James Gunn.
If it ain't James Gunn, it's gonna be JJ
live action.
I
mean, it's both of them actually. It's both.
No, it's not. No,
yes,
it's
it is.
not.
JJ is coming. JJ absolutely
JJ
has
just got a little one-off. JJ got a one-off.
Maybe that's what they said about Pattinson. That's what they said about Joker.
No,
maybe
it's not. No, it's not.
Joker was supposed to be a one-off.
Joker was supposed to be a one-off, but you really think Black Superman finna make like $1 billion?
I mean,
it
crazier
depends on who
things
they put
have
in
happened.
there, but
it's somehow when these people make Black characters and actually push them, it's crazy how Black audiences will give them money and sometimes
but at the same time, I think that it all depends. Like, I'm not gonna lie, you give me a Val Zod story, I'm there. I'm there for that.
What I don't know. Maybe I don't understand what part of Val Zod's story attracts people other than the fact that he exists.
That's it.
I know his history.
No, that's it. No, that's it.
I know his history.
That's it. I'm not even going to front. I'm not even going to front and act like he got the most engaging stories. I'm just saying, yes, but I also think that because his stories are so thin, because his background is so thin as well, you have a lot of leeway creatively to take his movie, maybe make it way more modern, maybe add some new twists and elements to it. And that's where there could be some different appeal.
Big thing that I don't like about Val Zod personally is that he's a pacifist and he refuses to throw a punch or fight against villains. So when villains attack, he usually just decides to save lives as opposed to stopping the villain and tries to, talk them down or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Try other non-violent ways to confront.
Well, let's not act like it's got to be a comic adaptation. I mean, again, this could just be loosely inspired.
I'm just saying that I don't know where that excitement comes from. Like, from what I've seen of the character so far, it's to me, it's like the announcement of a film in the Spider-Man universe. Like, oh, we're gonna get Disco Dancer or whatever that movie is by Hypno Disco, whatever that joint is.
Terrible.
right? It's like they announced another. All right, whatever. You know,
Yeah.
it's happening. It's a movie.